Hey there, welcome. So in this lecture, I will show you how to use the P4 merge as a diff tool for comparison purposes. Now comparison can be in multiple stages. For example, as you know, in a local Git repository, there are the working directory, there is the staging area, and there is the commit area or the Git repository. Now you can have several artifacts which are in different states. So obviously there will be a diff or difference between what is in the working directory, what is in the staging area, and what is in the commit area. So there can be difference between the artifacts in the working directory versus staging area, or in the staging area versus commit area, or in the working directory versus commit area. Not only that, there can be difference between the artifacts if I do comparison between two arbitrary git commits. So in a step-by-step manner, I will show you all these diff or differences between the various states of a Git repository, both locally and from remote perspective. Okay, let's see where we are. So we are in the Git fast directory under the home directory. So let's do an ls, and you can see I have several Git repositories over here. So I have created a repository called business venture. So let's cd into this. Cd, press tab, press enter. Let's clear the screen and let's do a ls-l. So let's assume that I am a technical entrepreneur who understands both the technical stuff as well as the business side of things. So I have created a repository which is business venture, and there are several docs over here. So doc means basically the documentation. So there is administration, advertising, HR, major milestones, marketing, product development, product release, product testing, purchases, and sales stock. So I will modify various docs under this Git repository to illustrate you the comparisons that we can do using the Git diff tool, which is P4 merge in our case. Okay, so let's check the commit history using git log dash one line, press enter, and so you have a single commit right now. So I just created the starter documentation and committed all of them, and now we'll gradually build up certain docs. So we'll start with the major milestone doc, as you can see over here. So let's clear the screen. So when we start out to modify doc, we can either use the Sublime text, which we earlier installed and configured. So you can do subl major milestone if you want to edit using the Sublime text. So if I press enter, the Sublime text will launch and you can start modifying the doc. Or if you prefer unique style editor such as VI or Vim, which I normally do, you can still use the same. So I'll use a Vim editor. So let's modify the file major milestones. Press enter, and right now we are in the editor. Press I key to insert. Now I will gradually develop this documentation in order to depict the milestone I have achieved in my business venture. So the first milestone I have achieved is formation of the company. So let's enter the appropriate line for this. So formation of a public limited company. Since this is a milestone, it will be appropriate if we have some kind of date. So let us give a date for this. So the milestone has been achieved on 1st of June. So let's press the escape key : WQ to quit and save. press enter, and right now we are in the terminal. So as you can see, the star symbol indicates there is a modification in the repository. Okay, so since measure milestones is already a tracked file, we can do an express commit using git commit dash am, and then you can have the appropriate message, which is company formation done. So closing quotes, press enter, and the commit is done. And let's do another modification to the measure milestone doc. So vim measure milestones, press enter, press I key to insert, press enter, and let's add the next line. So once the company is formed, the measure milestones achieved next is formation of the core team. So it's core team formed including CEOs, VPs, and CTO. And let's assume this was achieved on 16th July. Press escape key :WQ. So you have achieved our second milestone. So now if you have followed what I did, I will now illustrate a diff or difference between the working directory and staging area. So you can see we have made a modification in the working directory, so it is in modified state. So first I will show you using the git diff command, and subsequently I will show you how to use the visual tool, which is P4 merge in our case. So once you issue the git diff command, this command will actually find out the difference between the working directory and staging area. So let's press enter, and well, you can see over here the difference in green font. So this says that this particular line, core team formed including CEO, VPOs, and CTO, is the difference between the state of the file measure milestone in working directory versus staging area. And obviously this line does not exist in the staging area since we have not issued the git add command after adding this line in the file measure milestones. So now I'll issue the git diff tool command, which is an equivalent command. However, it will show you visually using the P4 merge tool the difference between the working directory and the staging area. So let's press enter to launch P4 merge, and here you go. So you can appreciate how nicely and visually the things have been depicted over here. So there is a left side and right side in the diff tool. So you can see here this is showing as measure milestones, and this is a file in the working directory, and you can see another file here which is a temporary file that comes from the staging area. And obviously since this particular line doesn't exist in the staging area, it is depicted visually as a difference between the working directory and the staging area. So we need to return to the terminal. So let's quit from the diff tool, and we are back in the terminal. Okay, let's clear the screen and let's commit the changes whatever we have made in the working directory. So you can see the star indicates that we have something added to the staging area. So since the file is already tracked, I can do an express commit using the git commit -am, and the appropriate commit message can be the core team formed. Closing quotes, press enter, and the commit is done. So with this, we conclude this lecture, and in subsequent lectures, we'll continue to build up these measure milestone files and other documents and illustrate the different aspects of diff and diff tool command.